Alrighty, folks, let's get this show on the road, shall we? Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Adobe Live this morning. My name is VooDoo Val, and I am going to be teaching the Photoshop challenge for today, and I am so excited to be back teaching these challenges. I have missed all you early morning folks, or early morning for me as I'm in Northern California. It is really great to see all of you guys. I see Frank in the chat. I see Clarissa. I see Carol, Tim Loomis, Jennifer. It is good to see you, Frank. Hello. Ted is in the chat. And I think we have Cody Bear, the one and only Cody Bear, in our chat this morning. Christy Lee and Anthony Silva, I see you over on the YouTube chat. And I also see Super Cuphead. It is good to see you guys. So today I have something special planned. We are going to be diving into Photoshop for some sticker illustration, which we will use to create a cool product promo with a little bit of motion over in Adobe Express. So if you would like to download the starter file and kind of jump in with me today, there are some pretty cool designs and things waiting for you in the description below. So click on that link, download your files, and let's jump into Photoshop. Our file for today looks a little something like this. And it says use clipping masks, brushes, shapes, and the paint bucket tool to create your own stickers. You can elaborate on some personal ideas or create some designs that match the 3 stickers included, which you can see on the screen here. Add all of your assets to a new CC library and then access them within Adobe Express to create some fun promos, which I think that this is going to go pretty swell. We've got some pretty awesome stuff already here in the file, which I had an absolute blast creating for you guys. And I'm going to kind of zoom in there. Let me remove this layer because I don't think I need this layer. I think this layer is unnecessary. But I'm going to kind of zoom in here. So I created like a little coming soon sticker, which I thought was cool. Just a little bit of texture, you know, just some basic shapes, really. And then I have this cool one that is kind of like a yield or caution sign, but clearly it is warning of fun times ahead. Clearly it is warning of positivity. And then I created this cool like flower sticker. I had a really good time with these colors, which I have also sort of prepared here for you if you would like to use the same colors as me. And I also have this little background which I illustrated for you. So I'm going to go ahead in my file here and just hide our info. And then by clicking V on the keyboard to access my move tool, I'm going to come over and just kind of line my stickers up here so I can keep an eye on them, you know, and keep my eye on the ball as far as the vibe I'm going to go for, because I am going to make something that matches these. And then I've got my colors down here, which makes it very easy to kind of grab. I can even grab that. We can bump one sticker up here and throw our colors right there. And then we'll kind of work in this space to create a new sticker, a 4th sticker to kind of animate for today. Now, there's a lot of ways that you can approach this, right? I see General Kenobi in chat. Hello there. Welcome in, friend. Umacord, it's good to see you. Robert, welcome in. Yeah, that's me. Yes, welcome in, Super Cuphead. It's good to see you. I'm going to be using a brush, honestly, for my design because I'm an illustrator. And the brush that I have is actually a brush that you folks will have available to you just default in Photoshop. It is a hard round brush, and I've set this to dissolve here up in the mode, up in the top right-hand corner. And you can see what this does is it gives us this nice, like, texture. So if I zoom in here, you can see it has this cool texture around the edges. Very subtle, but it's a lot of fun. I think it's cool. So we're going to do a design, and I'm going to use the brushes, but I am also going to show you folks how you can create these kinds of stickers even if you're not using a brush and stylus. So the first thing I will do just to paint in my shape is I'm going to hold shift and then just create myself a straight line. Control T or Command T if you're working on a Mac today, and I am just going to drag this until I kind of get my snapping guide to the center of my canvas. Now, if you are working in Photoshop and you're not seeing those little pink snapping guides show up, all you have to do is hit Control H. Control H will turn those snapping guides right on for you. Now, on another layer, I am going to do the same thing, hold Shift and drag downward. Just to create a a new line here. And I'm also going to snap this to the center and then maybe make it a little shorter. So basically what I've done is I've lined up myself this kind of oblong sort of plus symbol. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to tap and then hold shift and tap this way and create for myself a nice straight line. Holding shift and tapping your brush from point A to point B will create a straight line between those two. And then I'm just going to do the same thing here, and then hold shift again and tap there, and hold shift again and tap there. Now this is a little, you know, it's not 100% perfect, but for me, honestly, it's great because we do have kind of an organic vibe to our sticker here, and I just want to create like this kind of shape. I think it's kind of a cute shape. To be honest, I think it's kind of a fun one. And I also, you can hold the tilde key, which is this little key right here. If we do just a little swoop, the one that looks kind of like that. I've got my smoothing turned down and it's early in the morning, so your tilde key is not going to look all squirrely like that. It's going to be very smooth, something like that. And if you hold the tilde key, what this does is it puts your brush into a clear mode, which means now as I hold it, I am actually erasing with my brush, with the shape of my brush, and you can do that pretty easily, which is something that I like to do when I work with a brush. So I've got my shape here, but we're going to add another shape, and we can do that with the actual shape tools if we want. Now, something we could do is come over here to our shapes, and I will actually, let's bump myself over here so you can see where I'm selecting. I will grab a rectangle tool, and I could drag out a square holding shift. To ensure that those constraints are creating a perfect square. And let's go ahead and fill this with our pink color. Now I've been using my colors, so mine are showing up in my recently used, but you could come here and select a color, and you could come and select that pink color or whichever color you prefer to use. Let's go ahead and turn that pink. And then we can free transform, Control T or Command T if you're working on a Mac. Hold Shift to snap that to a 45-degree angle. And then we can come in and let's kind of, you know, line that up here. And what I can do really is we could, let's see, we can leave it like this. And then I'm just gonna bump it down like so. And we can create kind of a larger version of this, like almost like a border, something that can come in, sit in our nice shape as a border. Let's go ahead and kind of throw that in there. Let's maybe bring this down, bring it up just a little bit till we get kind of a cool shape. We might have to really kind of alter this a little bit. Just kind of noodle with it until you get something that fits real nicely in there. We're starting, we're getting there. But yeah, you could come in and create a lot of these shapes with just the simple shapes. That's good enough for me, honestly. So you could come in and do something like that, and then you could, oops, I hit no. Do you guys ever do that? You guys ever noodle around in Photoshop only to realize that it asks you, like, are you sure you'd like to make this change, which you've spent so much time on? And you mean to say yes, but it just doesn't work out that way. There we go. We'll say that that's good enough. Let's hit yes this time. And so now I have like a shape in here that I can work with. And I could come in with clipping masks. So I'll make a new layer with Control Shift In or Command Shift In. We can right click that and say create a clipping mask, and we can come in and start noodling around with some interesting shapes here. So maybe I want to grab that orange color, so I'll grab my brush again, and let's do something that you could do at home if you were just using a mouse, for example. So let's grab a soft round pressure opacity. Some of you folks are going to know what I'm about to do because I love leaving the dissolve mode on for the soft round pressure because this is just a really great way to add some texture. So we'll make our brush a little bit bigger, and I'm just pressing the left and right bracket keys in effort to do that. And I think also I was hiding my layers here when I made a clipping mask. So you can see there, if I just kind of, let's go ahead and extend my layers. I made a new layer above that rectangle, that pink rectangle, and then I right clicked it like so and said, it says release clipping mask now, but I created a clipping mask. Let's see. I see RB in the chat. Good to see you. Afroja, welcome in. Scott, hello. Good to see you. Audrey, Tony, welcome in. Thank you all so much for joining us. I also see Andrew Deacon in the YouTube chat. Welcome in. And Polly as well. Mind blown. Could you design this in AI and import the shapes as a vector path? You could. You could, Polly. We're going to be working solely in Photoshop and Express today. But you are more than welcome. I encourage all of you. If you are here and you think of something that you could do totally differently than the process I'm doing for these challenges, I encourage you all to elaborate and just kind of let your imagination, your creativity take you down a path and sort some interesting things out for yourselves. You are more than welcome to do what you please with these challenges. My job is to inspire you and maybe give you some building blocks to begin a new project and to help you exercise those creative muscles, but you do not have to do exactly what I do. So I'm just going to kind of tap in here, and I am using my stylus to kind of brush, but maybe we can all Control Z or Command Z if you're working on a Mac. Put my stylus over here, and I will use my my mouse, and I'm just tapping. And doesn't that add just such a beautiful texture to that? It's so nice, so pretty. I just love it. So that's a way that you can add a little bit of texture to that. Another thing that you could do, if we come down here underneath our rectangle, and let's grab our pen tool. You could grab the pen tool. You could come in here and let's see, maybe tap and tap here. Let's tap, actually, let's tap here. Am I using the curvature pen tool? I am using the curvature pen tool. Let's use the curvature pen tool though, because the curvature pen tool is great. So curvature pen tool, I'm going to tap up here and then here. And if I tap here, you see how that makes that nice curve for me? It does it already for me, which is just so nice. So we can do this. Let's kind of space them evenly. Over here maybe. Over here maybe. And I'm just going to start tapping in and adding some cool ripples, you know. And I'm not being extra precious with these because I'm going to do this in a few different ways, but we can come around here and create that strange little shape. You could also come in and alter some of these if you're holding Alt or Control. If we hold Control, we can straight up move that around, which is actually giving us a much smoother, much rounder arch to some of these shapes. So we could come in and do something like that. Maybe move this one over because that's a little pointy, and we want this to be kind of smooth. We can bring this up like so. Get a little bit of smoothness going, like so. And then we can hit V for our move tool, and we can bring this up like that, and then we can clip this, honestly. Let's bring this down to above our little tan triangle and say clipping mask. So we can add a little shape like that to it if we want. We can even bring this down, maybe rotate that a little bit, add a little strangeness into it if we want to. Personally, I prefer to illustrate it, but that's just my personal thing. You can also grab a shape. Let's grab an ellipse tool, or our ellipse tool, and let's hold shift and constrain a circle. And then let's actually change this circle to our blue, because I like our blue that we've been working with. Let's hit V, and we'll line that up like so. Let's do a little some of this, you know, because I think that's kind of nice. We can kind of snap that to the center, and then you can hold Alt to duplicate, and you can snap this right in there, and you can I'm just holding Alt, and every time I tap one of these shapes it duplicates. In fact, this might be the way to go. You know, we can kind of I can hold Control and really alter where I have these as I click. I'm no longer holding Alt because I'm gonna kind of, you know, move these around, but you can see how we could come in and get something that is even more. Let's spread them out to really make this kind of even. We can start to create a design that is a little more uniform, if that strikes your fancy, a little more than some of the more organic shapes we were making. So we can throw that in like that. In fact, I like this. I do. I think this is really cool. I'll throw that in right there, and just kind of get these going around the edge here. Boom. Let's throw another one in here. Boom. Let's throw another one in here. Boom. And just kind of go all the way around. Now what we can do, what I would do if I were you, and since it's my project, I'll go ahead and do it, just to kind of show you how I would elaborate, is I will place these in, and then I will either group them or merge them all together. And go ahead and use another clipping mask to add a little bit of color, a little bit of texture to them. And I'm also, even though we're doing a very particular project today, I'm going to snag a random person out of the chat. I'm going to throw your name on this because we're going to need some text. We're going to need some text for our sticker. Normally I would, you know, choose a little saying because we've got like we have our little coming soon for our product promo, but I think that I'm going to, maybe we'll say that this product is designed by somebody in chat. So if you are lurking and you would like to be chosen, or you are just, have just been kind of working, give us a hello in the chat. I'm gonna peek through and see all the names that we've got. I'm going to go ahead and group those. What I did just then, by the way, is I selected the topmost layer I wanted to select, scrolled down, held shift, and selected the bottommost layer, and it just selects all my layers in a row here. And then Control G to group, and now it's not clipped anymore, but I'm going to go ahead and say Convert to Smart Object, right click, create clipping mask. So we go back, and then here's something cool that you can do. So we've clipped this, right? And you can't clip something to a clipping mask. It'll all be clipped down into the bottommost layer that is not a clipping mask, but you can still illustrate within something that's clipping masked if you do this. So I'm just gonna, I hit E on my keyboard to access my eraser and tapped that smart object, and it wants to rasterize it. I'm going to go ahead and rasterize it, and I'm going to hit lock transparency so that I'm only painting within the borders of what is already on this layer. And then I'm going to make my brush large. We're going to snag, I think, this green. Let me make sure I've got my brush. Let's snag that green. And let's do a little tap tap for some nice texture within that blue there. That's really cool. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And then we are going to do maybe a bit of hand lettering, you know, just let's go ahead and maybe jot somebody's name in here. Let's see who we got. I see Miss Melanie's in here, kind of piped up, came in to say hello. I see Z in the chat. Let's see, let's go with, you know, I don't know that I have ever met Polly or Miss Melanie, so I'm going to say this project is a collab. Is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say this project is a collab between Miss Melanie and Polly. So let's add a Polly. This is just my handwriting. We're not going to be too precious with it because I don't have the time to be, but I'm going to also put in Melanie. Make sure I spell it right. That would be embarrassing. Boom. And I'm going to, let's maybe grab our green, and I'm going to write maybe I'll keep my brush small. And I'm going to try not to be too precious because your girl's going to want to be precious, but I don't want to take up too much of our time because we are still going to jump into Express. There's our A and our B. Boom. And then I'm going to take my, like kind of an eraser. Let's actually select this. That's going to be our makeshift third sticker. Just kind of orient that, Control D or Command D to deselect. And I'm going to take my brush with my tilde key held and just kind of, let's just take a little chunk. Ooh, I was pressing tab there. That was a little odd. Take a little chunk out of my letters here just to add a little extra texture to it because I think that's kind of cool. So there is another little sticker, which I love. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier, selecting everything. Is I'm going to click our topmost layer we want to select, hold shift, click our bottommost layer we want to select, and I'm going to right click and say convert to smart object. We are going to call this sticker 4. Boom. And I'm going to, I have a CC library created, which I've just made myself a new library in Photoshop, and I'm going to drag sticker 4 right there. Boom, we've got our sticker going. And then we're going to pop into Express. So let's head over here real quick. We've got maybe, I would say about 7 minutes to go to kind of create a cool little design. So let's come in to Adobe Express. Boom. So this is our homepage over on Adobe Express, new.adobeexpress.com. And what I've got here are up at the top, we have our get started area. So we can start from my own content. We can do like files. We could start from a PDF, from a Photoshop file, an AI file, whatever we want to do. You can come through and kind of scroll through all of the different post sizes we have. You can go for a custom size if you would like to create something totally custom. And you can scroll down here and explore all of the many templates and things that we have. I am not going to start from a template. In fact, we're going to start, actually, one thing that I didn't do, let's add our background. Let's add our background real quick. I'm going to right click and convert the background to a smart object. And we're going to drag that in there too, if I can. Boom, there we go. Ooh, I have my reference file attached to it where I was like kind of sampling some colors. Let me go delete. And let's do like a Control A. Can I do that? Cancel. Control A to select my canvas and Control J to duplicate. And then let's see if I can drag this in. Boom, there we go. All right, so what I did there, just so that everybody knows, because you might be dragging things into your library and wonder why is it not showing up. If you see this line, like this blue line that's kind of highlighting something that is like selected in your libraries, when you go to drag stuff, you probably won't actually be able to drag it in. So I just clicked in here to make sure nothing is highlighted, and then all of a sudden will allow me to drag and drop. So don't forget that. If you run into that that issue, that's probably what that is. All right, so I'm just going to start from an Instagram post. So let's go Instagram square post. We'll go create from scratch. And I am going to bump myself over to the other side of my screen so you guys can see everything that I've got going on here. And let's go ahead and go to my stuff. Let's go to brands and libraries. And then let's go to, I believe I called that, what did I call that in Photoshop? I think I called that design challenge. So let's go to design challenge in our, here, let's go design challenge, boom. And I've got my colors in there and I've got my stickers. So I'm just going to drag my image over here. That's going to be my background for my promo. And we'll go ahead and stretch load. Do we have our image in there? Yes, we do. We'll go back to my stuff. We will go back to brands and libraries. And then let's go ahead and just drag and drop our images. I'm going to, let's zoom in here to our canvas. What I'd like to do is kind of, turn some of these and just start arranging them in like a cool manner here for our piece. Let's go ahead and drop our other sticker in there. And let's make that a little larger. And let's also rotate this around and kind of throw this in the corner. Maybe like right here. We will grab another one. Let's grab our collab sticker with our good friends from the chat, Melanie and Polly. Let's go ahead. That one kind of added, you know what I probably did is I probably tapped my, my canvas someplace else while I was illustrating, and so it's probably got a little dot or something on it somewhere, making this a little bigger than the others, but that happens sometimes. We'll go ahead and let that load because it is a smart object. So sometimes when you load stuff into your Express, it may take a little while for you to like load it for it to become clear. And these stickers are a lot smaller than some of the ones that we, than this one. So All right, cool. So we've got our stickers in here, and what I want to do is add a little bit of motion. We've got a few minutes here, so let's go ahead and come over to our effects, and let's go down to, not effects, let's go down to animation, and let's go in. We can have that drift in. Let's skip our tour. We can have that drift in, we'll have it breathe, and then we'll have it drift out. So let's go ahead and play that. Boom, we've got our collab Polly and Melanie sticker, and then it comes in and drifts out. And we can kind of, you can see how you can systematically really come in and add some pretty cool designs here, and just experiment with what you can find to have like your little, your stickers just kind of cruising around on the page. If we had more time, I would maybe add a little bit of text to go with this as well, so that we could get a little more emphasis on what we are kind of advertising here, but unfortunately we are out of time. But this has been super fun. I hope that this has inspired you guys to kind of use the CC libraries and what you can create in Photoshop with some motion and animation stuff in Adobe Express. I do have to take off, but I hope you will stay tuned for the other daily creative challenges coming up after me, and I will see you tomorrow morning for more Photoshop challenges. Adios, everybody.